Statham coming to meet the goal kick. Here's Robertson. Regis taking it well on the chest, and a lovely piece of control by Regis. Oh, and what a great shot! Oh, one of the goals of the season. Cyrille Regis.
There's a flag that's flying, WBA, with blue and white stripe, the Wembley way. Bats and Regis and Cunningham, it's a football racket for Albion. Singing fans, a successful team.
Hey Rob, hope you're good, hope you had a safe journey from LA. Give me a call when you've landed. The plan for tomorrow is to meet around noon at the 3 Degree statue in West Brom. How do you feel? I find it so surreal that we're going to go on this journey and learn more about Dad, and he's not here. I always think about generations that will see this. Mm-hmm. Like in 50, 100 years' time, the stories told and the legacy that's just there.
So he had it all. So he was the good-looking guy, charismatic, good player. He could do it all. So he was the first, when I say trailblazer, he was the first black trailblazer in that sense.
It was such a breath of fresh air, really, to have these exceptionally talented players, and as well as being black heroes, they were working class heroes, and we could kind of identify that, and we could see people breaking through a glass ceiling. And it also inspired me as well, because I always wanted to be a sports writer and to write about phenomenal players like who were going to follow in the footsteps of Cyrille Regis and Laurie Cunningham and Brendan Batson. And I could see really what they meant to the fans and how they just put a smile on everybody's face. I think that's the thing I think about Cyrille.
You guys know my parents never ever owned their own house. They'd never had a car, they never learned to drive. You know, everything they did was for their children. My dad shaped certainly me and a large part of our family, you know, including you guys. My dad was, and his brothers were like adventurers. Do you know what I mean? They wanted to make their lives better.
What was the emphasis from the family as far as, you know, getting a trade before turning pro? Or was that even a conversation? It was just getting a trade was the fundamental.
It wasn't. Yeah, that was it. There was no talk about professional sport in general until that opportunity came for Cyrille. Education, job. Dad was strict on you need to get a trade. Football would not have been on his radar. There's always scouts looking for players, and you need one person
one set of eyes
to like you and give you an opportunity. And obviously he was destined to do it. 1 minute he was living at home. Next minute I either heard or got told that he'd moved to Birmingham to sign for this club. And it felt like within months, it was all over the newspapers. I remember getting on a train from Euston and going to stay with Cyrille. And I was hooked. So, I mean, I wanted to know all about it. He took me wherever he could. You know, even though I was 6 years younger than him, his little brother, he was brilliant. And I don't actually appreciate how much that shaped me.
That's a good through ball to Regis. The flag stays down. And Albion, who have been under the hammer, take the lead.
Of course, the most infamous photo of all, isn't it? You know, it's just... But like, I don't know about you. I mean, you know your dad far better than me. But I just look at his cheesy grin on there, and he's thinking, "We're going to pay for this." Yeah. He's the only one in that photo. He's the only one. Oh God, yeah. I don't think Cyrille Regis ever thought that he would be a professional footballer. He hadn't been in an academy or a youth development programme at a major club, and he thought he'd pretty much missed the boat. He was spotted playing football on Regent's Park, playing Sunday morning football, played them for 2 non-league clubs, and then he got his big break by moving to West Brom, who were in the top 10 clubs in the country at the time, and was signed for £5,000, which obviously is nothing today, wasn't a lot back then. And he was supposed to be in the reserves for 12 months, learning a little bit more about the professional game, but he got thrown in because of injuries to other players and just became an overnight success. His debut was just something I've never seen before, and I'm confident, I've seen thousands of football matches, I've never seen anything like it before, and I'm sure I won't see anything like it again. He literally won the crowd over by sheer endeavour.
The evening of the 31st of August 1977 changed my life. After that night, Cyrille Regis would be a name on every black country footballer's fans' lips. 2 months earlier, I had been working on a building site. Now I was going to make my first team debut. Am I good enough for this? How will I do? I was nervous. When we won a penalty in the second half, the crowd started chanting, "Cyrille, Cyrille." They were demanding that I take the penalty. For whatever reason, they just took me in. I hit it hard and high to the goalkeeper's left and scored at the Smethwick end of the Hawthorns. The crowd went mad, and it was a fantastic feeling.
In my naivety, I thought there'd be safety in numbers. With the 3 of us, we were the first team to field 3 black players on a regular basis. Well, that seemed to incense the crowds because the level of abuse we got was unbelievable. My debut was at Birmingham. I think it was a Tuesday night. In those days, the change rooms were slightly higher than the ground itself. So you came out, you walked down some steps onto the pitch. As I went onto the turf, I slipped slightly. I looked down and I trod on a banana. And I'm thinking, Christ almighty, that's what it was like. Hooliganism was rife in those days, leading up to the Heysel Stadium disaster, and then after that, the FA banned clubs from up here in Europe, or competing in European competitions. But hooliganism was rife, so they were taking steps against hooliganism. Anything else they had to deal with that was damaging the image of the game, but nothing against the black players. There were several of us by then, playing in leagues up and down the country, but they did nothing about the racial abuse that we were suffering.
And again, McNaught was making his presence felt. This is Regis. Martin Joel.
The thing I remember most about your dad, a bit like you, the dimples, is he had this, as though he wasn't smiling, yet he had a smile on his face. Well, I think on the pitch, what I remember was the 5-3 game that we talked about when we beat Man United 5-3 up at Old Trafford. When he scored the 5th goal, he stood up with his hands up like that. He had big muscles. But you know what your dad did? I'm convinced your dad used to have his shirts 2 sizes too small for him. He used to tell the kit man, I want a shirt 2 sizes too small so I can accentuate my muscles. But he had his arms up, big smile on his face, big dimples, good looking, and I thought, you're too good looking for your own good, really, Cyrille, And I just love that moment because I can think about it.
professional football at Hayes to really blast his way into the scene at the top.
For the best part of 4 seasons, I completely lost my way. They were my wilderness years, which nearly cost my playing career. Albion weren't what they had been either. I had wanted to move to a big club, but to be honest, I was happy to leave Albion. But I really didn't want to go to Coventry. At the end of each of the first couple of seasons, we had to endure last day's battles to stay up. I was low on confidence. Every day was a struggle. Thank goodness for John Cyrille and George Curtis. John was a true football man. He brought humour, direction, confidence, swagger, and belief. To get my confidence back and to enjoy playing and going to training again was a wonderful feeling.
It wasn't a great place, Coventry, in that period of time. You know, racism was quite rife in the UK, and he and his cohorts, they absolutely smashed it and brought almost a degree of unity to the city. And to this day, he's remembered for not only his scoring the goals that he scored for us, and some very important ones, scored in the quarter-final of the FA Cup, which we won in 1987 away at Sheffield. But his overall performance, he was just seen as a big strapping powerhouse that was just so positive for the city.
I think just by playing and being himself, there was not an evident recognition of being a trailblazer.
At the time.
He had passion, he had the drive, and he had everything that it took for him to be the best that he could be within the game. And that just came naturally. And I think over time, as we were going through this life, he wasn't going to think, this is history in the making and stuff like that. He was being who he was.
Because he was the star player, when the 2 managers came in, John Cyrille and George Curtis, they made a big thing of saying, look, we're going to pick on you at times in training, but we want you to accept what we're saying, so everybody else around says, well, if it's good enough for Cyrille, it'll be good enough for me. And that was what he was like. He was a proper team man, and he always gave everything, which was it's the basic demand that all fans have of any player, that they give their all, and Cyrille Regis always gave his all.
Is there one last throw of the dice for Tottenham Hotspur? We're in the last minute, and they're into the celebrations. Coventry have got to keep their shape. Just look at John Cyrille. He knows how close they are to glory. Unheard of before in Coventry's history. And that's it! It's Coventry City's first major...
The final whistle was followed by a moment of silence. I sank to my knees on the halfway line. This was my first ever medal in 10 years as a professional footballer, and I feel an overwhelming need to reflect. I ponder the dark days of previous seasons when it seemed my career was disappearing down the chute, how close I had come to fizzling out of the game. Many players sadly do. I reflect on everything I'd gone through to claw my way back from the wilderness. At times, I did not know who the real Cyrille Regis was.
The Sky Blues are sky high.
When you're struggling is when you find out who you really are. This one's for me.
It's the first time in 104 years that Coventry's football club has won a major trophy. This afternoon, the city determined to savour its moment of glory. The police estimated the crowd at 250,000. It took the players 2.5 hours to travel just 4 miles into the city centre. The celebrations in this city went on late into last night. They'll be continuing for many hours yet this evening.
And now they're gonna believe us, and now they're gonna believe us. Yes, wonderful, isn't it? There it is. That bit of silver we've worked so hard for. The lads have been brilliant, isn't they?
Cyrille, a
A wonderful afternoon, and even though you didn't score, you must have been very happy.
Very happy indeed. As Trevor's saying, it's all about teamwork at this club, and we all make mistakes, we all get the glory, but we stick together, drink together, and it's just absolutely fantastic.
You know I broke this.
Did you?
You don't remember?
No.
You're probably too young, but I broke this playing football in the house. I kicked it, smashed this whole thing out. Yeah.
It's not a good day.
No, it wasn't a good day. No.
It's not a good day.
It's not.
There was like a phase where it felt like he was always coming back, like he'd, don't know, been away, or he was just always coming back. And then it's like he was around a lot. Like I can remember weekends and him turning over my cartoons to watch football, and so yeah, it's kind of how I feel Dad's presence.
Yeah. Presence-wise, I definitely felt like, as you said, it was always waiting for him to come back.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I don't remember him leaving much. I'm not sure if it was a school thing or a timing thing, but it was always, oh, where's he playing? What's he doing? When will he be back? And anticipating his return.
Yeah.
So Dad's energy was definitely missed a lot of the times, you know, out working.
Yeah.
I remember looking on the teletext, shows my age, to see where he was playing and if he had scored or not. So I remember that.
Hi, Dad.
Hello, Michelle.
The way I found out about the divorce caused trauma, because I remember like all week, like Mom and Dad saying we're having a sit-down talk on Sunday, family talk Sunday, we're going to have a, you know, on Sunday we're going to have this talk, and in my head I'm like, we're going Disneyland, and I'm young, you know, like 11, you're not going to think something bad is going to happen.
Mr. Regis, can I gather your attention, please? You've got it. Okay, right. I'd just like to know what actually that yo-yo there symbolises, please.
That symbolises two sides of my character.
Right, okay. This seems as though this might be very in-depth.
There's an interview going on.
Right, okay.
The black represents the cool, placid, philosophical side of me.
Yes.
And the red is the fiery, aggressive, antagonistic, nasty side.
Yes.
So the playing with this yo-yo, the way it balances, it balances my two characters together.
Okay.
Time to reflect on the devastating loss of Cyrille Regis, a man whose career in football inspired so many.
Here's Regis again. And a hat-trick for him.
All I wanted to do is play like him. I wanted to back in and hold it up and score goals, and I used to watch him all the time. And if it wasn't for him, I would never have been a professional footballer. He's got to be missed, Gav.
He will be. It's terribly sad.
After being 2 down, but it was Albion's day, and they who celebrate.
As a kid listening on the TV, you know, obviously I didn't know what was going on, but you could hear the monkey chants.
When Cyrille Regis died, obviously, you know, it was a sad day, but also kind of bittersweet to kind of have a moment to kind of celebrate and remember, you know, his legacy.
He was a well-known footballer, even in Africa. That time, when I used to see him, I used to watch him on telly when I was still in Africa.
And he's got Regis going through for Albion. What a fine save by Spink. And Regis has got the ball back. And he scored! Amazing.
And it
says a lot that after playing for Coventry, he went to Aston Villa, he went to Wolverhampton, and he previously played for West Brom, who are all rivals at Coventry City. But he was still loved. It didn't matter that he went to, you know, our rivals, because everybody just loved Cyrille, loved what he did for the club, loved his style of play. He was very dynamic, very strong. He scored lots of goals. I think to call him an icon of Coventry City is accurate. But I think more importantly, he's an icon of British football generally.
It's one of the moments that you'll never forget where you was when it was announced that he died. And I remember it like, well, only yesterday. It's been about 5 years now, hasn't it? You know, but it was one of those, I say, Princess Diana moment when you'll never forget where you was when you heard that they'd passed away. And Cyrille was one of them moments.
People always wanted to spend time around his influence, and I was so fortunate to have that as a family member. But today it's been hard.
But by God, you'll never be forgotten.
And also, on behalf of those thousands of fans, can I say what an honour and a privilege it was to share in his wonderful life, knowing, of course, that there was, and there always will be, only one Cyrille Regis.
Je ne me souviens pas de Marie Passoula, parce que dès que j'avais 4 ans, je crois, il m'envoyait à Cayenne pour aller à l'école. Et je venais seulement pendant les vacances, et c'est tout.
Comment, en avion?
Non, avion, pas du tout. En canot. J'avais peur, j'étais peur, parce que, tu sais, la rivière là, c'était frightening. Et je me souviens que maman me disait tout le temps qu'il a des sirènes, parce que c'était dangereux. Et moi, je croyais que c'est vrai. Et quand je devais aller pour prendre de l'eau, je prends de l'eau, je mets, et je retourne. J'ai dit, mermaid, mermaid, you big devil, come and get me, come and get me. My dad originally came from St. Lucia, but he went to French Guiana to do gold prospecting. He was planning to leave when he met Mom. She was from French Guiana, born there, so he decided to stay. But he still went back and carry on doing gold digging. He was a gold digger.
The Commonwealth Immigration Act came into force a year ago this week. It doesn't control immigrants from Ireland, by far the largest number, and in practice its effect has been to control the numbers of coloured immigrants, especially West Indians. But new arrivals are not only far fewer, they also seem to be largely dependents of West Indians already here. Since the Act, 2 out of 3 arrivals have been women and children. Complete families are now becoming settled members of the English community.
Dad's family came to England and said to him to come to England. So he left French Guiana. Coming to England was different because you didn't have your own house, sort of thing. And my dad was living with one of his siblings who had a house in Paddington, Portobello Road, and then left there and rented a flat. And in that flat, your kitchen was in the hallway. Me, Imbert, and Cyrille shared slept together in the front room. And of course, Mum and Dad had their room. We didn't see Daddy. By the time he get up, we're still in bed. He used to work for Walls. He would go from Walls to do cleaning and to do carrying things for people. He had 3 jobs before he came home. In fact, we didn't see him. One of the reasons why he took on these 3 jobs was so he can save some money to save for a deposit. And one of his cousins said, you know, we'll help you. But when the time came, when he called the cousin and says, oh, I'm sorry, I gave it to somebody else. So we ended up homeless. And Dad went to stay with one of his brothers in Paddington. Mum, Imbert, and Cyrille. No, Mum, Imbert, and Denise went and stayed in the Salvation Army in East London. Cyrille and David went to a children's home in Aldershot. I stayed in London in a children's home on my own because I had to go to school. Then, I think, a year and a half or so, then we got back together, got a house in Harlesden, in Stonebridge. And that's when we reunited. I'm happy to hear that you're going to French Guiana to see the family and to see where we were born, because I myself don't even remember, because I've never been back there. Yes, I've been to French Guiana, to Cayenne, but that's not where I was born.
Auntie Neela, wow, that was powerful to hear. There's still so much to learn, and apparently there's a lot of archives accessible to trace our family journey. I'm so curious. The day after we land, we'll meet cousin Layla in Cayenne. Did you know her and Dad were really close?
On est parti à Birmingham en juillet 2000, et donc c'est là qu'on a rencontré Cyrille pour la première fois. Tout de suite, il a fait le nécessaire pour nous rencontrer, pour nous voir, et malgré la barrière de la langue, ça a été vraiment, on a été vraiment très très proches, très close, et du coup, ça faisait comme si on se connaissait depuis toujours. À Birmingham, moi c'était vraiment Cyrille, vraiment tout le temps. On allait chez lui, il venait à la maison. C'était un plaisir de le recevoir parce qu'on cuisine créole. Et du coup, il était, on va dire, créole guyanais. Et du coup, il était ravi de pouvoir toucher, on va dire, de près, même en Angleterre, la Guyane.
So you're how old here?
25. Yes, and so it was the first time your father came in French Guiana since he left when he was 5 years. He was so happy to come back in French Guiana. I asked him to be my
groomsman.
Yes.
Wow. Huh.
He said, okay, he's not a bad boy, you can.
Yeah. He gave his approval. Yes.
Bienvenue, c'est ce que nous dit le plat le bouillon à roi. C'est le plat traditionnel de Guyane. Pour nous, c'est le plat national qu'on revendique. C'est le seul plat en Guyane dont l'ingrédient principal est endogène. C'est pour ça que ça mérite d'être un plat national. C'est un lawara qui pousse uniquement sur le plateau de Guyane.
J'espère que ça vous plaît. À la période des awaras, parce que comme Serge l'a dit, c'était à la période de Pâques. On a une période assez longue où on peut ramasser les awaras. Parce que l'awara, pour faire le bouillon, il ne se cueille pas, il se ramasse.
C'est un plat qu'on ne peut pas manger tout seul. On ne peut pas le préparer pour une personne, pour au moins 2 personnes. C'est ça le bouillon d'awara, bouillon de culture, c'est la Guyane. Vous êtes dedans, dans ce plat. Une partie de l'histoire de vos parents, d'accord, est dans ce plat.
Les gens seraient surpris.
J'ai quitté la Guyane à l'âge de 4 ans. Je me souviens de Cayenne, mais aussi de Maripasoula. On y jouait dans le fleuve, sous la pluie avec ma sœur. C'est un excellent souvenir.
En fait, on a été sollicité par M. Wandé qui nous disait que sa mère fêtait ses 100 ans et qu'à cette occasion, il a de la famille de Sainte-Lucie qui sera là et d'Angleterre. Et c'est arrivé sur place, j'aperçois Serge Fulgence qui était là aussi et qui me dit « Thierry, j'ai une bonne surprise pour toi. Cyrille Regis, est-ce que ça te parle ?» J'ai dit « Oui, Cyrille Regis, c'est toute mon adolescence. On se souvient de ses buts et qu'il a failli jouer aussi à Saint-Étienne car moi j'étais supporter de Saint-Étienne à l'époque et il nous a accordé une interview. On a échangé, on a beaucoup parlé de sa carrière. Les souvenirs aussi de Maripasoula et qu'il prévoyait de revenir en Guyane avec ses enfants. C'était aussi son rêve.
Athanaïs Feder-Wandé ne s'attendait pas à tant d'attention pour ses 100 ans. Ce restaurant de Matoury paraissait même trop petit. Il est vrai que la surprise fut grande pour cette Guyaneuse.
Je suis très heureux, très heureux. Je ne même pas parler. À force que je suis émue. Tous ces enfants-là m'ont téléphoné hier. Personne ne m'a pas dit qu'on venait. Alors, on m'a fait vraiment une surprise.
Oh, wow. Wow. Ma mère est venue en Guyane avec son oncle parce que l'oncle n'avait pas d'enfant. Et elle n'avait que 12 ans. Et elle est venue, donc, logiquement, c'était pour aller à Sainte-Lucie. Et ils sont allés à Maripasoula. À Maripasoula, dont ma mère est tombée malade pendant 3 mois parce qu'elle avait le regret de laisser ses parents. Parce qu'elle était d'une famille de 10 enfants, 5 frères, et avec elle, ça faisait 5, c'était 10 enfants. Elle était heureuse avec ses parents. Et quand elle est venue en Guyane, elle a souffert le martyre. Elle n'a pas été à l'école à partir de 12 ans, parce qu'elle était dans les bois de Guyane. Donc elle a passé, si on veut, une enfance malheureuse.
So, I heard that you have a special bond with your grandmother. Okay, so.
Okay. We share the same birthday.
Oh, really?
And we both had daughters at 17. So yeah, I'd really like to know a lot more about her.
Okay. So, there she is, Athanaïs Feder. Okay. And there's a lot of documents, obviously. I'm just going to show you 2 of them. So, there we go. That's a letter actually written by her. So that's her handwriting and her signature here. She signs with her nickname, which was Guianese. Guianese. So apparently she wasn't known as Athanaïs, but as Guianese. Okay. So that's pretty cool.
Yeah,
and then
very
when they write back to her, there's also her address here on the envelope. So it says Miss Feder, and she's staying at Boulanger, which is the name of the gold mine.
Okay.
Yes. So maybe we could get something about your dad's birth. I don't know if you've seen this document before, but it's basically the birth record of your dad. Okay. Yes, it's ready neat. Thank you. So there you go. So let me translate a little bit. So that's the birth of Cyrille Regis. He was born at the dispensary of Marie Passoula. And his dad was called Robert Albertini Regis, who was himself born in St. Lucia in Canaries. And we even have the date. So your granddad was born in 1916, and he was a gold miner. And so your grandma is Gladys Mathilde Feder, and she was born in Marie Passoula in 1934. So what we did was we went a little bit higher up the family tree and tried to figure out the Feder name. And what we found is that they were slaves in Guadeloupe.
Okay.
And so Feder was the name given to them, you know, sort of the naming part when they were named, and that's where Feder comes from.
Okay.
And so this whole part of your family tree, Guadeloupe.
Okay.
Yes, but I'd just like to go back to him, to Abraham. Let me see. This document is dated 1941. And so his last name is Fulgence, so his nickname, as we know, is Senthal. And he was born in St. Lucia, 1899. He's a gold miner. And that's him. That's him here.
Wow.
L'émigration Saint-Lucien, elle arrive en gros dans les années 1880 en Guyane. On a un contexte en fait dans ces Antilles, ce sont des petites îles avec donc à la fois une pression démographique et une incapacité à accéder aux fonciers qui font que ces populations sont obligées de migrer, de partir ailleurs. Et donc l'or c'est un attrait pour ces populations. On ne va pas avoir de grandes compagnies minières qui vont s'installer. Ça va être le domaine de ce qu'on va appeler les maraudeurs, les bricoleurs. Donc ça va rester très, très artisanal. Il n'y a pas de grandes fortunes qui se font sur la majorité des orpailleurs. Hein. C'est la même chose aujourd'hui dans l'économie. On trouve de l'or, on fait fortune, on descend, on va en général dans les lieux de vie. La description qui est faite de Marie Passoula, c'est que c'est un véritable bouge où c'est la loi du plus fort. Il n'y a pas de mort, mais c'est quand même la loi du plus fort qui s'impose, quoi.
Cyrille Regis, on a quasiment la même histoire. C'est un natif de la commune de Marie Passoula, donc en Saint-Lucien-Brésil. Et donc nous partageons en commun cette commune, puisque moi aussi je suis né à Marie Passoula. Et durant ma tendre enfance, j'ai toujours entendu les anciens parler d'un footballeur sans pour autant connaître sa grande carrière. Ce n'est qu'avec l'avènement d'Internet, dans les années 2005-2006, où j'étais au lycée, où j'ai fait avec des amis des recherches pour mettre une image sur Cyrille Regis. Et là, on a pu parcourir son immense carrière.
« 9h14 sur la première. Soyez les bienvenus si vous nous rejoignez à l'instant. Vous êtes dans Belle Saison. Et oui, et puis toujours en bonne compagnie, puisque nous avons avec nous donc Michel, hein, qui est la fille de Monsieur Cyrille Regis. Et nous avons aussi Rob, qui est lui le fils de Cyrille Regis. I wanted to know, what did you feel the fact that you grant your father's dearest wish? Because it was his dearest wish to come with you, but he didn't have time.
I definitely felt like his spirit made it happen. Even though he wasn't here, it was his greatest wish. Right. And I believe that in some spiritual connection, because we wasn't even sure we were going to make it. And I definitely feel it was my father pulling strings and making things happen to get us here. So I know he's looking down proud and happy that we are here.
And you, Michel?
Yeah, kind of mixed. Same feelings as Rob.
Mixed.
But just, sad.
that he's
Ah oui,
not
il
with us.
y a de la tristesse, sadness, yeah. Yeah.
Il y a beaucoup moins d'or à trouver à partir des années 20, hein, donc c'est la fin du cycle de l'or. Et surtout, après la Seconde Guerre mondiale, le cours de l'or ne représente plus désormais suffisamment d'argent pour la famille Regis. C'est un petit peu ça aussi, c'est qu'au bout d'un moment, il n'y a pas d'activité économique sur Maripasoula et la migration s'impose et on quitte Maripasoula. On peut considérer que les années 80 marque vraiment le début de l'effacement du monde Saint-Lucien sur la région de Maripasoula. La mémoire sainte-lucienne, par rapport à ça, s'ils sont tournés vers l'Angleterre, elle a plus de place ici, puisque c'est des gens qui sont partis. Mais vous avez encore aujourd'hui, dans Maripasoula, des familles qui sont des familles de descendants créoles.
very humbling to think that this is people's and our grandparents' mode of transportation to go to work, a survival tactic. The danger aspect, it's very naked feeling, like
vulnerable.
Things can change quickly. So yeah, definitely a tangible moment.
Thinking about Papa and his journey and running jokes about wanting Nida's mermaid.
Yeah.
We'll send best wishes.
They're gonna send messages back to her about that.
Yeah, so it's just cool, just taking it all in. You look for him and you just find him missing everywhere you look. So Father's Days, birthdays, new job, it's just so raw. It feels like we've come together in a way, because I'm in his country. This is my roots. So it's like a different kind of, like, we've connected in a different way that we never have when he was alive. So now it's more like, it feels like a beautiful gift to say, you know, me and Rob, his children, just go on this incredible adventure, because there's so many elements where this might not have happened. And to do it with my brother, just, I know, would make my dad so happy. So it's like, I feel reconnected with him in a different kind of way, if that makes any kind of sense.
It's been 4 or 5 years since he's passed away, right? And I don't think I've ever truly dealt with his passing. And I think this trip I've been able to, like, not get closure, but definitely bring me closer to him and make me appreciate his story and his journey and bring it back to light. It is definitely a beautiful thing, which I really, really, really appreciate. My grandparents' journey in this too. Like, I feel closer to everyone. I feel closer to my Auntie Neela and all my cousins and my family that are still here. Like, there's a new appreciation for the journey that we've all been a part of.
Moi qui suis un lecteur du journal France Football et du journal L'équipe depuis mon enfance, j'ai suivi tout le parcours de Cyrille Regis lorsque j'ai vu dans la presse nationale qu'il était né à Maripasoula. Comment un joueur comme Cyrille Regis, né à Maripasoula de parents anglophones, Saint-Lucien, part très jeune en Angleterre et fait une superbe carrière, comment ce garçon a toujours revendiqué son identité guyanaise.
Moi, en étant jeune footballeur qui avait plein de rêves dans la tête, c'était comme un exemple pour moi, puisque effectivement, un joueur noir arrivé à ce niveau-là à l'époque, c'était pas courant. Et en plus originaire de la Guyane, donc j'étais assez fier, c'est vrai.
Okay, it's very good.
Well played.
Wagwan.
Wagwan, Bridget.
Cool. Well played. Hey, good player.
Thank you.
Good player. Well played. Well played. Very good. You feel good?
Pour jouer dans des équipes en Angleterre, c'est pas facile. Il faut se montrer supérieur. Et c'est mon cas, parce que lorsque moi je suis arrivé à Angers, j'étais le seul noir. J'ai subi ça terriblement, mais je ne faisais pas attention. Autrement, serait noué à mes performances si je m'occupais de ça. J'ai eu des cris de singes, on m'a jeté des pots de bananes, un tas de choses. Mais la seule différence, moi je l'ai montré sur le terrain que moi je faisais la différence. Comme ça au moins, ils pouvaient dire ce qu'ils veulent après. Mais ça n'a pas été facile.
Avec ce que réalise les Yanadokos, la sélection de Guyane actuellement depuis déjà quelques années, les gens se sont réappropriés ce football guyanais. Voilà, on sent qu'il y a un engouement et je pense que, voilà, en rendant hommage à Cyrille, même s'il n'est pas resté longtemps en Guyane, voilà, on peut le récupérer éternellement.
A moment to be proud, you know, for him to recognize what he had done and for him to get awarded like that, you know, to go to the palace, meet the Queen, shake hands and get his medal. It was amazing. And that's when I would say a pedestal, yeah.
You've got to remember, there weren't many black faces on television when I was growing up. And every Saturday night, watching Match of the Day, there would be Cyrille Regis banging in the goals, playing with a smile on his face, and really stepping into some really hostile atmospheres and never once backing down. So he really inspired me to be brave, to be strong, and to kind of believe in yourself.